Hello, and welcome. 2024 was yet another year of anime, so I'm going to once again rank what I think are the best anime of the entire year, which is why you should join me as I continue my journey to discover the perfect anime. Now, same rules as last year apply. No anime that carried over from 2023, only anime that premiered in 2024, including sequel seasons, and only anime that appeared in my tier list, so no special episodes or movies. Also, to make things more interesting, I'm not going to allow any anime that were on last year's year-end ranking too. The point of these videos is to highlight standout anime of the year, and if I just put the same anime each year, then these lists will become pretty stale. So because of these rules, the following are all honorable mentions. Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Oshinoko Season 2, Frieren Beyond Journey's End, and The Dangers in My Heart Season 2, which if it wasn't for this rule I'm implementing, would easily be the #1 anime and nothing else would really come that close. But I did just make a much deeper dive on this series if you want to see how I feel about it. And Re:Zero Season 3 won't be on this list either because, come on, it would easily top the list too. Just automatically assume that every year Re:Zero gets new episodes, it's by default anime of the year. The following are all the other honorable mentions. 365 Days to the Wedding, A Sign of Affection, Days with My Stepsister, Train to the End of the World, Puniru's A Kawaii Slime, Spice and Wolf Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf, Villainess Level 99 I May Be the Hidden Boss but I'm Not the Demon Lord, Shoshimin How to Become Ordinary, The Elusive Samurai, I was reincarnated as a 7th prince so I could take my time perfecting my magical ability, The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic, and any other anime I ranked highly in my tier lists. Alright, now to the list proper. Now, last year the first anime I ranked was Kamikatsu, which was an anime I highly doubt many others would have put on their year-end list because it's a total mess. But I bring it up because I loved how weird, wacky, sometimes revealing truths of the human condition in dark and depressing ways, and uniquely animated it was. So moving forward, I think the first anime I rank on these year-end lists will be one that is not for everyone, which is where my 12th favorite anime of the year comes in, that being Mayanaka Punch. This is the definition of a hard-to-sell anime. It's loud, there's constantly something invading your personal space, and all the characters are really annoying. And going in, I wasn't fully sold on the whole vampires become YouTubers concept, but if there's any studio out there who shouldn't be doubted on making whatever weird anime they want to make, it's PA Works. Last year, Buddy Daddies almost made the cut, skipping low for 2, and if I made a video for 2022, then ya boy Kongming or Akiba Maid War would have likely made it on the list. And I, and all of us, shouldn't doubt the creative minds at PA Works now or ever. Not only do all the characters in the series share one brain cell, but I'm pretty sure they're lobotomized too. And maybe I latched onto this anime because I'm a YouTuber, but I don't have anywhere near the amount of subscribers that Mayanaka Punch does. Guess I need to start collabing with vampires. Mayanaka Punch is an anime that's as unhinged as you'd think it would be, while at the same time isn't afraid to get emotional at the right moments. As expected these days of PA Works. Wisteria Wand and Sword is here mostly because it's an anime that does one thing and one thing right. This past year, there are anime like Windbreaker and Mechaude Mechanical Arms which fill a similar role. If you watch Wisteria, you're going to get excellent animation and fights. Is this the best written or deepest plot of an anime this past year? Of course not, but it doesn't need to be. Will Serfort is just the perfect MC for a story like this. His goal is clear, his weakness in this world is apparent that he can't use magic, and every time he wins a fight or accomplishes one of his goals, he earns it. And the truly hype moments of this series are worth getting out of your seat and cheering for. Unlike the previous anime, this is an anime that's much easier to sell, and one I highly recommend checking out if you want a really fun time. It's action-packed, it's beautiful, it's paced really well, and oh yeah, the soundtrack is fantastic. Shoutouts to Yuki Hayashi. 2.5 Dimensional Seduction is the most underrated anime of the year. I remember looking forward to this because I thought it would just be a fun, ecchi harem rom-com focused around cosplaying. Well, it kinda is, but mostly isn't that. And while the MC may be neutron star level dense at times, he's extremely headstrong and genuine. He's the cornerstone behind the cosplay group and does everything he can to support the rest of the cast. And while not all of us are cute anime girls cosplaying as other cute anime girls, the overall theme of this anime is all about blazing your own path of glory despite what others may say. There's no way an anime like this would have worked with any other protagonist than Akumura. He's not just someone who'll pick you up when you're down, he'll pick you up, find your wings, glue them on, and then tell you first and foremost how important you are. That's one of the beautiful things about this anime and cosplaying in general. For a short while, you aren't just who you normally are in the outside world. You can show off what you're really capable of, how you want to be. I've had so many great memories cosplaying and meeting other cosplayers at anime conventions, and it's something I look forward to for any convention I go to. Whether it's through magical girls or any other passion you might have, your efforts are meaningful. Solo leveling is like playing a video game with character creation sliders. Action, music, character growth, pacing, showcasing the indomitable human spirit, all max settings. Thinking required needed to watch this anime? Who cares? I'll throw myself at this boss as many times as it kills me. Is solo leveling going to be anyone's all-time favorite anime? Probably not if you've watched at least one other anime, which is not a bad thing. I loved every episode of this series, and the only reason it isn't ranked as high as it could be is because, well, I just want to see what comes next. I'm anime only here, and all I know is that this is just the warm-up. It's January 2025, Season 2 has already started, and yeah, it's really good. If A1 is all in on this series, it shows, as this could go down as one of their biggest undertakings ever, especially if they make it a complete adaptation. And I love A1 Pictures. You're gonna hear about them again soon enough. All I want to see is another season of 86 and more of this series. I want more solo leveling, I want more Sawano banger tracks, and I want more anime given this much love. Everyone wants to focus on the fight scenes, myself included, but if the goal of solo leveling is to make Sung Jin-Woo the coolest MC after being the weakest MC, I'm all here for it. While yes, he does have the advantage of leveling up, I can't help but see his personal growth as a Lonely Mart employee to Lonely Mart CEO inspiring. I'm sure a lot of people have gone on their own solo leveling journeys towards self-improvement, and will continue to do so as the series delivers again and again. The number 8 anime on this list is Kaiju number 8. I swear, that wasn't intentional. Kaiju number 8 is higher than solo leveling for me because I just like the MC Kafka so much. I think that might be related to the fact that I entered my 30s in 2024, and with that came new and exciting adventures, including immediately getting a blood test. Twice. Turns out I'm pretty okay. Every time my spine cracks in the future, I'm just going to think about what Kafka would do and then turn into a kaiju right then and there. Just gotta work on that last part. I am Kafka, not because I'm also a millennial boomer, but because I just appreciate how he's unabashedly still a shonen MC, despite what others may think. He's a pretty straightforward guy. He has a clear goal and just wants to stand alongside the person he looks up to the most, his childhood friend, Mina Ashiro. It just so happens that Mina is also the captain of the defense force. She fights kaiju head-on the front lines and protects millions of citizens at home. And Kafka is a kaiju disposal expert. However, this gives them an advantage, understanding kaiju biology and behavior more than any other recruit. Sure, they kept him on the defense force and trained him wrong as a joke, but time and time again he proves his worth in and out of his kaiju form. While the main appeal of Kaiju number 8 is of course the action, I ended up really liking the entire cast a lot. Not just Kafka himself, but Hoshina, Reino, and Shinomiya. Both Shinomiyas, Kikuru and her dad, who are ultra tsunderes. From now on, anytime I see a Shinomiya in anime, I'm just going to automatically assume that they're a tsundere. Kaiju number 8 is another anime that will continue soon, and I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully Kafka and I can hit the treadmill a few times before it comes back. God, I can't believe I'm gonna do this, but I'm being completely serious when I say that Gushing Over Magical Girls is one of the best anime of the year. Now, what this anime really is the most degenerate, horny, down bad anime I've watched since that Inakai-san's dog anime. Though the difference here is that this is really good. I've said it before, and I'll say it as many times as I can, but I'm a firm believer that if you're going to do something, even if it's the wildest of ideas, that's probably bad on paper, just go for it. Go all in. Yes, I don't play poker. How can you tell? Gushing Over Magical Girls came out in a season that had 2 other very horny anime airing, and one of which was one of my most anticipated anime of the year, as I'm a huge fan of the source material. And this show about torturing magical girls was way better than the other 2. Gushing Over Magical Girls isn't just a horny anime, it's the horny anime. It's in a running for horniest anime that can ever be made, but it's also genius. Anyone can just write this anime off as a filthy goon sesh, one without any men in the entire world, which is just hilarious. But hear me out, this is an anime all about quirky girls settling their differences and learning to be friends. It's as wholesome as it's wholesome. And I need to wrap this up before YouTube nukes my entire channel. But this truly is the anime of the year, not for everyone. I wouldn't recommend this anime to a wide audience, which is exactly why I'm recommending it to all of you. Since you've stayed with this video to about the halfway point now, whether you enjoy this anime because you find the friendship between all the girls endearing or for other reasons, I understand. Maybe one day I'll be able to promote myself as a respectable anime YouTuber. But that day is not today. "2024 had some solid entries into the ever-growing villainess genre of anime. In 7th Time Loop, the villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy was my favorite. Though I think this is more of a villainess anime in name only. Riche isn't exactly a full-on villainess, it's just other people think so, and unlike most villainess anime, this isn't an isekai, but a time loop instead. Yeah, since I'm not putting ReZero on this list, here's the next best thing, and also this is me making up for not including the Apothecary Diaries on last year's best list. Because Riche just carries this show so hard. At one point in her life, she was disgraced by her former fiancé in front of the entire kingdom, which resulted in her abandoning her old life and beginning anew. And then after 5 years, she was killed, and the cycle repeats. After the first few times, she's gotten used to the harsh treatment at the beginning. Riche, you're an awful person, and
Yeah, let me just fast forward this part real quick.
She's lived for 5 years, 6 times over for each loop, each time experiencing a new path. With her most recent being a knight, and now in her 7th loop, she's engaged to the very man who killed her previously, and she has to stop him from trying to conquer the rest of the world. What I love about this anime so much is how Riche manages to find the right solution to all of her problems from her past experience. She understands negotiations because she was a former merchant. She knows how to fight because of her experience as a knight, and knows how to hire the right staff from her life as a maid. And on top of that, Riche is just gorgeous. I totally understand why Arnold would fall for her so hard, and how she's able to win over others so effortlessly. She's one of the most charismatic, capable, and entertaining main characters of the year, and this is all from her past lives and learning how to deal with the terrible hand she was dealt. One of my favorite anime moments of the year was just seeing the author of this series, Toko Amekawa, geeking out on Twitter over how well this series was being received. And for good reason. I love this anime and I really hope it gets a continuation. Riche is just such a great MC and I love seeing how she manages to succeed no matter the odds. Right off the bat, I should stress that Orb on the Movements of the Earth is a historical fiction series. I don't know a whole lot about 15th century Poland and whether or not heliocentrism was viewed as heretical, but what I do know is that this is an excellent anime. One that is all about discovering the truth and bringing it to light despite the fear of doing so. And it's also an anime that I believe doesn't have a true main character. The name of the anime is quite literal. The orb shown is the true protagonist. How it exchanges between the hands of everyone shown in this story represents that even with the passage of time and the deaths of those who uphold it, eventually the truth will come to be. I've seen a lot of people compare this to Vinland Saga, and while I do understand the comparison, I think another anime it's similar to is To Your Eternity. Since the story isn't focused on any one place or one specific person at a given time, at some point in the future, you, everyone you've ever known, everyone alive today, will be long forgotten. That's the truth of this world in its own right. But it's what we leave behind, how we influence each other, and what we uphold that is remembered. The flames of damnation can only burn so hot. And while our characters at any point could have taken the easy path in life and lived in fear, they all fought for what they believed in, that being the truth. This anime is also animated a lot better than I initially thought it would be. Maybe I was just spoiled by Free Rent and didn't expect Madhouse to deliver well here. And while it has its faults here and there, I think many of the scenes may be just a bit too dark. And a lot of the episodes are just characters standing and talking. But when it needs to hit, it delivers. Orb is perhaps the biggest surprise for me this year. If you're interested in more serious and historical series, then this is a must-watch. Oh yeah, Delicious in Dungeon should be on everyone's list. And I'm sure most people thought that this would just be another fun fantasy romp with some awesome trigger animation in here. And while I did get that, I got an anime much darker and deeper than I expected, much like the dungeon itself. But really, the true standout of this anime, other than Senshi, is the world building. Don't be fooled with how the story pretty much takes place in just one location the entire time. The dungeon and the rest of the world is explored in full. Any question you may have is answered, which leads into only more revelations that you weren't expecting. It's so easy to just say anything in a fantasy world happens because of just magic and call it a day. But here, everything is intertwined as a thriving ecosystem. When one action happens, a reaction and consequence is triggered. Pun intended. And despite this being a fantasy anime, anything that's explained just makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't the dungeon be set up like this? And why can't I order Basilisk at Texas Roadhouse? I don't want to shout out the dungeon alone. This group of goofballs is the perfect Dungeons and Dragons party. I don't know if Ryoko Kui, the author of this series, has ever played D&D, but I know she's a fan of BG3. Marcel, Laios, Chilchuk, Senshi, and later on Izutsumi all play off one another so well. They're each equally important to the party, balancing each other out and complementing their strengths. While nobody ever comes off as the true shining star, the real monsters we ate were the friends we made along the way. That sounded so wrong, but this anime isn't. If you're a fan of fantasy anime, who am I kidding? You've already watched this, or you need to. Everyone needs more Delicious in Dungeon in their lives. Oh yes, Konosuba is back after so long. Well, I know we had the movie a few years back, but a true full season of Konosuba hasn't happened in 7 years. Let's hope we don't have to wait that long for season 4. But either way, this is genuinely one of, if not the funniest anime out there. Easily the funniest isekai and my favorite of the year. That wasn't ReZero or Musho Tensei. Darkness, Aqua, Megumin, Kazuma. Please. You too, Union. You all are a welcome sight. And even compared to previous seasons, I think season 3 really impressed me. There's so many episodes this season that had me laughing so hard I was in tears. But something season 3 does well is balancing some serious moments with the normal comedic pace, especially surrounding Kazuma and Darkness. Darkness. Darkness has always been my favorite character, alongside Yun, and having a season mostly dedicated to her was a welcome sight. And I think I should shout out that we did get the Megumin spinoff back in 2023, and while it was fun, I think the biggest strength of this series is the characters. How they interact with each other and the rest of the cast is a crucial part of the appeal. Everything you love about Konosuba is here in full force. The goofiness, the incredible voice acting, explosions, Kazuma being a jerk, Aqua being useless, Darkness being a masochist, explosions, Megumin being a menace, Union being precious, jiggle physics, explosions, it's all here. Konosuba is genuinely one of my favorite anime ever, one that I'll happily rank highly each year that we get it. So see you again next decade, I suppose. Or not, there are few anime out there that give me as big of a smile as Konosuba does. A1 does it again. Solo leveling and the second opening for Mashup may have been their biggest successes of the past year, but Makiine Too Many Losing Heroines is not far behind. Because wow, this is a masterpiece. And while I am a huge fan of rom-coms in general, I've never really seen one that takes the anti-rom-com route that Makiine does. It's in the title. Anna, Lemon, Chika, they're all losing heroines, and Kaju too, because I don't think her brother is into her like that. Man, what was up with Summer 2024 and Younger Sisters? And the main character is a definition of NPC. He doesn't have any friends, he's mostly just interested in which water fountain tastes the best, and when he's with others, he's not even third wheeling, he's fifth wheeling. Heck, he's not even wheeling, he's a spare tire. But what makes Nukamizu such an awesome MC is that he does the right thing time and time again. When others are experiencing heartbreak, sometimes the best thing to do is just be there for them. He doesn't go out of his way to cheer them up how others would. Having someone to just listen to you and be your friend when you need them the most is just as important. At the beginning of the story, he's a background character with no friends, and at the end of episode 12, he's a background character with friends. This is as much of a story of accepting rejection as it is seeing Nukamizu grow alongside the heroines. And Nukamizu, maybe you actually are better at being the protagonist than you'd think. Sometimes you just know the right things to tell others. And this anime is just so well executed. I love the art style and how well animated this show is. Makiine manages to make me smile harder and cry harder than nearly any other anime this year, and is a true standout from 2024. But there's of course another anime that came out this past year that I think is better. And that anime is... Yep, it's Dandadan. I already made a video titled Dandadan is Anime of the Year, and wouldn't you know, it's Anime of the Year. The action is flawless, the voice acting is excellent, the characters are all fantastic, the music is perfection, the OP and ED are bangin', the art direction is beautiful, the emotional beats hit hard, Momo's grandmother's hot, we got to Gigi in season 1, Ira is the chosen one, what more could you ask for? There are few anime that are based off of manga this good and this well drawn that managed to hit exactly where they needed to. And with season 2 looming on the horizon this coming summer, my only hope is that Science Saru gives this a full adaptation that it deserves, which is wild when you consider what's going to happen in the future. There is an arc that will need to be 2 cores to be completed and will utterly melt your brain when it gets adapted. So far, all we've seen of Dandadan is the least weirdest and least developed part of the story, and it's still Anime of the Year. It's also one of the hardest to describe anime just in general. Imagine telling somebody that the plot revolves around recovering the balls of one of the 2 MCs, while they fight aliens, cryptids, bullies, hormonal urges. Meanwhile, the supporting cast is made up of badass grandmothers. I think 2024 overall was a bit of a weaker year for anime in general when you compare it to the past few, but Dandadan is still a standout hit and would have been in any other year of anime too, and it no doubt brings us one step closer to finding the perfect anime. Hold on. Look at the runtime. The video isn't over yet. Yeah, I'm doing this again. Because Girls Band Cry is also number 1. This anime came out of nowhere and wasn't even officially licensed in the West until pretty recently when it got put on Crunchyroll. Which is a shame because this is one of the best anime I've ever seen. And yes, I know it's a CGI anime, but it's one of the best. This anime is beautiful, breathtaking, heartbreaking, and a wild ride. There's been a lot of anime this year, many of which were on this list already, about following your dreams. And at the time this was airing, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night was also airing too, which was a really good anime. I liked it a lot, consider it an honorable mention, but while I liked the whole show including the ending, I think it started off more strong than how it finished. What makes Girls Band Cry so different than Jellyfish and others is the crushing reality of it. Your dreams aren't guaranteed, and seemingly everything in life wants to prevent you from making it. Nothing is ever certain, not for Nina, Momika, Subaru, Rupa, or Tomo, and everything they have to go through to just be a functioning group, let alone a band, tests them again and again. But it's worth it. All the effort put in, all the sacrifices made to get to this point where even if it's a small part of the world, and just for a moment, you're still on top of it. If you give up, it's all over, and the only thing to do is stick to what you believe in more than anything else. And out of all anime that premiered in 2024, Nina Isuri is without a doubt my favorite character. No one else was this reckless, selfish, and forceful to blaze her own path along with her bandmates, and she's a big reason why this anime hits so hard for me. And if this was a year that made you want to cry out at the top of your lungs against the rest of the world, then let this be your song. You want to make an anime that'll top this list? Make a band anime. Make a girls band anime. Make a girls band cry anime.
桃香さん、私、間違ってないですよね。